1. Hey everybody, so it is ShaE with an E and I'm back. As we know, I started the Faith Over Fear series 2022 at the beginning and kind of went all the way through with some very powerful conversations. I feel so blessed and honored. The beginning of Faith Over Fear, when it was just a thought process, I had a conversation with 2 people. So it is not a coincidence, or it is not by accident that this last one would be a conversation with those same 2 people. And so here we are at the end of 2022 with all of the gems and all of the things that we've learned, all of the ups and downs, all of the ins and outs. And here we are to have this conversation as we close out. I'd like to reintroduce to you beautiful and also Yahya, who joins us from on the road. So welcome to the season finale of Faith Over Fear 2022. How are you both doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm living. How's you?
I'm good.
Y'all hear me?
You're a little low. Turn it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Be careful. Be safe. Be safe. Okay, so here we are. Do you guys remember when 2021 was ending and we were kind of like brainstorming some things that we were talking about building some type of network or platform to be right where we would meet each other at the end of 2022. Again, I say that is clearly no coincidence. So in that time, 2022, where has it brought you through that year from our last conversation? Where has it brought you to? What talents or gifts have you unlocked? And beautiful, Beauty, I'm going to start with you there, because I know when we came into the year, you were just building and just kind of laying the platform down for some big projects. And you did reintroduce yourself of who you were in the future. What has met you in 2022?
Oh man, stepping out of my comfort zone. I stepped out that day. I did the interview with you, and ever since then, I just been feeling like a new person because it like spiraled. I ended up doing a podcast, which was completely, stepping out of my comfort zone. I feel like I'm becoming a new person, a brand new person. I feel like detached. I'm like detached from my old self. So I don't know. I feel like I did a full 360.
I love that. I love that for you so much. And you don't know how much joy that brings me to hear you say those words, really embracing who you are becoming. And what would you say you have experienced through this year, through this last almost 365 days, which has maybe placed you at a different level in your own self?
You said?
Yeah, that question was actually for Yah, but that's fine. You can answer and then pass the mic.
Well, you can answer.
Okay, my year was some highs and some lows. The lows are actually learning experience, and they're not lows. I had a bottom, actually close to the bottom, and I'm still close to that bottom right now. Some financial thing, but I got my health, I got my mind. So anyway, I've learned a lot of business issues, a lot of things I never knew growing up because I never was taught it, and I guess was never understood by my parents and those around. I'm blessed to finally meet my goddaughter. We spent some time together, and she has helped me with a lot of things. This is why we had conversations in and out of our business lives, and so she's been a help to me, even done some terrible. So I like I said, I had some highs and lows, but the lows were learning experiences.
Well, one thing, you're kind of going in and out, but I know that we'll catch all the words that are meant to be caught here. And one of the things that I did catch was that the amount of time that separated the two of you to bring you back again along each other's paths. I am privy to know just what that means to you. Yeah, I know how important that reconnection is, because I know the connection that you had to a very special person in Beauty's life who was gone and taken way too soon. And I think that's where we started this conversation, kind of maybe thinking about how do we continue to tell the story of a legacy that was ripped away way too soon. I think that's where we started. And how ironic life is that this would take a turn just at the time when, Beauty, you're beginning to use your voice.
Yep.
You're beginning to use your platform. And you're also pouring out the same gems that you poured out over us, because we were younger than you, not much younger than you, but younger than you. And it was always the joke that you was always talking. You was always talking, always talking. But, if we were listening to what you were saying then, we probably would have got, and you included, right? We probably would have gotten to a different place in time, at a different space and time. But I think you're able to pour that into Beauty. And I think that's the power of time. So do you want to give any feedback on, the connection of just having, the godfather, the man in your life who will never, ever replace your father, or the man in your life who was the reason why you're here today, but someone who was just as close to him, that kind of you get to get some remembrance from someone who knew your dad way longer than anybody I know knew him.
Yeah, I feel like God is just amazing because of the way that it worked out. But I also feel like, well, I wouldn't say I wouldn't be here, but you guys are one of the reasons why I am here, because having somebody believe in you and pour into you is really what pushes you. Like I usually push myself, but having somebody else do it, like it takes you to another level. And I feel like I got here quicker because I met CI and I had him do that to me, because I never had that before. From somebody else. I've always done it myself. I also say that to say, like, if somebody doesn't have that person, you have to be that person for yourself, because it does go a long way, and it definitely is needed to have somebody just truly, genuinely believe in you. And if you don't have that person, be that person for somebody else, because we need to do something, like if you don't have that person, it's for a reason. It's because people aren't doing it. So I feel like it's something that should be like more normalized, I guess. So like that was like a full circle moment for me. I just feel like with the time, man, like I said, I feel like I would have gotten where I am, but just having that extra push, it just speeds things up. And it all basically comes back to love, like I know he's pushing me out of love. So it just hits differently. And especially because I didn't have that a love from a father figure. So it was just like mind blowing, because like I said, I'm like, God is good, because like not only am I getting a push, but it's like from a father that I never had, and I didn't think I was ever going to get one because of, the situation, like it's impossible. So it was like a miracle, you know what I mean? Like the whole story all together. That's why like I feel like I'm a new person, because I really was pushed into being a new person because I have that love, behind me. So and you too. It actually was both of y'all within like the same months. Like it was like mind blowing. You've always been like that. Like that's just who you are. So, but it just still hit different when it was like directly, like you were sending me messages or like saying stuff under my post. Like it's really neat, and you can have people in your life that love you, but just really like believing in you and pouring into you. It's just different, and it's amazing. And I thank y'all for that.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. You know what I always say, and yeah, you can correct me if you feel, or not correct me, but you can let me know if you feel this way too. you wouldn't have received those things as you did if you weren't ready. Right. So I'm married to this beautiful partner in life, and I wouldn't have been able to receive that partner in life had he met me 10 years before. Right. I wouldn't have been ready because I never had anybody love me like that. So I definitely get what you're saying. I've never had anybody outside of anybody who I was taking care of love me like that. Right. And I've always in the seat to be the caregiver and the breadwinner and the roof haver and all, all of these things when somebody came stepping up to be those things to me. And if I wasn't ready, so that just goes back to you to say you were ready and at the right place at the right time. Yes. But I love how important it is and how valuable it is to have a male figure that is so positive and so beautiful that pours light into a world when at such a time that there's such a stigma and bad stereotype that are put on our males. So for you to say that and give him his flowers is a beautiful thing. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. I want to kind of piggyback off something what you guys said. And both things make me very happy. First and foremost, like one thing, God. Obviously, it is not a coincidence. There's no coincidences. God, everything is decreed. It happens at the time God wants to happen. Period. So that's what I'll say. And you said something. And you said you're grateful for having me in your life. Want to help you change it and mold it to a certain degree. And if you don't have that person with yourself. But we have to understand when saying that is first believe in ourselves that we can do something. We will always need another. Every single time. There's no such thing as doing somebody else. No such thing. You may make your food or whatever this and that, but somewhere in the process, there's somebody there. You always gotta remember that. Believe in yourself first. And we need that person. That person, like you said, we were there. Shannon was there with her comments. I'm here with whatever I'm giving, whatever I can give at any time. Hopefully, the intention is good. Have a good outcome every single time. Yep. So, I need to say that. Again, you help me as much as I help you. You're kind of like the daughter because I've had stepdaughters. I don't have any natural biological daughters. I had stepdaughters, Shanika and Shaquille. Shanika, kind of different because they said to me, "You're not my dad." While it hurt, it was a reality. And I'm not trying to be your dad. I want to respect you as a child, as my stepdaughter. Sometimes it's hard to say stepdaughter, and sometimes different kind of ways about that terminology. But the fact of the matter is, you are my stepdaughter. I treat you like my daughter. I love you like my daughter, but you're not. And so with yourself, your dad's not here. Like you won't say that to me because our relationship is different. Okay, and I would never try to be your dad, but I will try to give you the love and the support that you need, like a dad, like a father. I'll always do that. Jenny, you said as you met your husband, which when I see you guys, right, first and foremost, I have this big smile because I was part of your journey.
Absolutely.
I was part of your journey in a time where we were young, and for whatever reason, I was like, couldn't stand it. I think I go back down and laugh like, man, it must have been a pregnancy, whatever. That was funny, but we became really, really close. That was crazy. We cried certain time. You know what I mean? Like, man, you cried to me. And it's like the full circle.
Right.
Why I don't know if you ever asked yourself this question. I just say when you do pregnancy, we go through stuff when you're pregnant. You ever think about that? Like, why didn't I like this thing? When
I never had to think about it. I can tell you now that I read this, and this is so true. Underprotected daughters are overprotected. They say mothers. Underprotected daughters are overprotected. So anytime a man would try to be too nice to me, it wasn't happening. And you were very nice to me. Therefore, you were in my line of fire because I can't allow anybody to get close to me. And at that time, I was an underprotected daughter. And I was fighting for my life. And I was angry and I was violent. And, you know, these are some of the things that I dealt with on my own. So I never really had to think about it. I can tell you, you weren't in a class by yourself. Although you came with a group, one of your partners happened to be someone that I would have ties in life with. And I may have been nicer to him because I liked him. I allowed myself to do that. I was in control of that. I liked him, so I was going to be nice to him. And I liked his brother because he was an extension of him. But anybody else, I really didn't have to. I was in control. And I needed that. I needed that for myself. I just needed to know that I was protecting myself. And I was in survival mode, right? I was in straight survival mode. And anybody who tried to be too nice to me or tried to make me feel like I didn't have to be the way I was, then you were an enemy to me. You know, and never that you were an enemy to me ever in any sense of the word, but in my mind, that's how I thought. And we talked a lot about, you know, beauty. I hear you say, you know, I'm a different person this year. I am a complete different person than I was when I was 17 years old, 18 years old, even 25 years old. You know, and the truth is that our disconnect came so many years ago that I've become 100 people since the last time we sat in a space, since we sat in a room. I'm 1,000 different people since then. I'm a healed person. You know, my mindset is shifted. I look for love. I look for people to love me and honor me and give me my flowers. And I receive that. And one thing that you spoke about was that everybody, we all need somebody. And no matter what, somebody was there for me. Although I say I was an underprotected daughter, and I was, there was somebody there. Maybe they were praying for me. Maybe they were, you know, speaking to me or chastising me and telling me you need to get up and don't, you know, make sure. Maybe it was that person. Maybe it was the Rachels in my life, or maybe it was the, you know, the people in my life who were, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear nobody, you know, even my own father, you know, and my grandfather, they were trying to tell me to be on the, you know, get it together, stop, you know, fighting or stop doing this or whatever. And they got pushed away. They got pushed away heavy because I wanted to be in control. But one thing that I learned in all of these 100,000 of different places in my own transition that I've been is, you know, used to be a time when I would say, I'm independent. After that, after the time you met me, maybe after that, then I was independent, right? Oh, I'm independent. Bought my first house when I was 25. You know, lost that house when I was 30 in a foreclosure because I didn't know no better. You know, all of these things, I'm independent. I don't need help, but we all need help. What I found out was the goal is to be interdependent. And now I could boldly say that I am interdependent, meaning that I need people to help me get to my next level. I can't do that on my own, right? And if I'm independent, that means I got this, I can hold this down by myself. And that's what I didn't want to do anymore. So when I realized that being interdependent was my goal, that changed. And one other thing I wanted to speak to was, that you said that, you know, you could be a stepfather figure, right? But I would like to suggest in this conversation that you would become a godfather, because a stepfather has a different type of, you know, that stigma is all in its own. But a godfather is someone who gives you guidance and love unconditionally and helps you reach potential that you never even tapped into. And I think that's what you're doing for beauty. That's what I wanted to say.
Yep, for sure.
That's the
I was thinking about that word today. I'm like godfather and godmother, like how I'm on a Zoom with y'all and how powerful that is. It was like, that was nice.
It's a term that we use and we act upon it. We use it in a certain way. Some godparents want to give, right? I'll say this. Most godparents want to give. Most godparents want to guide. And it's a beautiful thing because it's almost like a positive force in your life. It's always, if you just take a look back and look at people's godparents, how they treated their godchildren. It's kind of always like that. They're always bringing them gifts, right? But the greatest gift is caring. So we throw this word love around, right? We throw the word love around and love you. And I say to people, and say you love your child, but why today I understand this. Why are you doing and showing them this? I say to all my children, you cannot possibly learn from all your mistakes, right? To learn from the mistakes. You have to learn from others' mistakes. You have to do that. Somebody else said this other title, this the other day. And it was just profound because we think we don't need people help. Although we learn by osmosis, meaning if you lived in a house with a Spanish-speaking person and they spoke Spanish, you just learn Spanish. Especially as a child, you're like a sponge. You know what I'm saying? You learn that. As we grow up in life, we're in different pockets. I live in Allentown. He lives in Plainfield. He lives in Easton. And we have different surroundings. You may speak differently. If we came to Allentown, you guys talk differently, right? Say you guys talk white. Said that. That's because of the surroundings. Right. Understanding today that it's your surroundings that means that kind of formed you most. But I can see, like you said, you was 100 different people. You took lessons from all that. You took a lesson from all that. Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of it. When we can't take a lesson from it. This is my point. We can't learn from these experiences. This is where we have, I'll say, our minds are locked from having the willingness, the objectiveness. You can't come into like this conversation. I can't come into subjective. I'm just waiting for somebody to say something. I don't even get started. You're waiting for that moment for something to happen.
That's right.
Listen, everything that happens. You know what I mean? And all the things that happen to you and you're like, you've learned lessons just by your speech right now. That's what you're talking about right now. And I can, again, I wasn't there for every moment, but I was there for a lot. Mm-hmm. Before I went to my my gray bar vacation, even after, some of the things that occurred, I don't want to be stuff public, whatever it was. I know one time you met a young man, and you thought everything was cool, ask him for something, and it was like, oh, that hurt you was so upset. Oh man, I done messed it up. This wasn't meant to be. Today I can say I wasn't meant to be because he acted however he acted. Now I can't say how he acted wasn't there, but it led you to where you're at now. Yeah. But that was an experience. I can almost guarantee that you said, okay, that's a lesson. I'll never do that again.
Yep.
You better know.
That's the beauty. The beauty of life. Taking lessons, learning it. Yep. And then give it to other people too. Like giving those lessons to other people. And I'm not gonna hold you. It was a man named Willie Huggins. We were children. Me and myself, my sister, and three of my cousins. We were standing on the corner of Plainfield Avenue and 4th Street in Plainfield. And he was talking to us about life, saying this is gonna happen, we need to do this, we need to do that. He said, one day you're gonna come to me and say, Mr. Willie, I know what you was talking about. Mm-hmm. Years later, I leave my sister's house. He lived like right on the block next to her. She lived there. I saw him on the porch. I saw him around the corner, stopped, jumped out the car, and said, hey, Mr. Willie, I see you here, this and that. I said, you remember this time? I said, yeah, he was on the corner with you, Joanne, Lonnie, Cheryl, and Sandra. You broke everything down like you remember yesterday. I said, man. I said, I just want to say to you, Mr. Willie, I know what you're talking about. You had to say it to him. But you had to say it. He just
Right.
smiled. He said, I'm glad you got the lesson. And I was able. I gave him a hug. He died like maybe a couple of months later.
Oh
But
wow.
I had to, like, I was able to say that to him. It was almost like a relief because gave me something years ago. I remembered it, and now I'm acting upon it. And life is difficult. You know, life is difficult, but it's just something like that. And so from that point, anytime, like you said, you don't want to hear what people are saying.
Mm-mm.
You may not want to hear how they're saying it, but the message sometimes is pure.
I didn't want to hear when. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready. Just like Beauty said, when she was ready. We're going to wrap up and give everybody 1 minute of time because we're running right at the end of this conversation. I will start and then I'll close out. I will first say thank you. Thank you, Beauty, for suggesting this. This seems so right to close this year out for Faith Over Fear this way. And to you, friend, Yah, ShaE, John, to you, I would say, because that's not the first time you brought that up to me, that I was mean to you. I was mean to a lot of people, but to you, I say, I apologize. And I ask you for forgiveness. I'll go back to that person 100 times ago, and I'll apologize from that space and ask that you would accept my apology. And
Absolutely. Yeah, if it's been my closing minute, I accept your apology. Everybody wants God forgive. So who am I not to forgive such minute? And I'll say a minute thing that you're upset at me or you treated me that way when God is lied upon, treated so. I can't make the word he's treated. I'm just saying he's lied upon. And he's treated so, he's disobeyed. And so we want him to forgive us for that, right?
right.
And so he's the greatest forgiver of all. When he forgives, there's no traces of in his being, right? His mind, his being that he's gonna say, go back to it. But we'll remember, we may bring it up, oh, you did this to me like that. So we always want that forgiveness from him and a like I will give you. That's our unit, the most beautiful person that I know today, right? Not taking nothing from the nicest person, right? You know the nicest person, right? My Beauty. I always tell you the nicest person to me. You know what I'm saying? That's Shannon. I think she's the nicest person, and you can come around her, and you will never, today, will never feel any kind of anxiousness. It's just a smile. Yeah, that smile of dimples, they always be there.
She's always inspired me, I swear.
Oh, yeah, always smiling. That's the thing that inspired me. And so you think you have a lot of potential, and you haven't even begun to see life at the end of your time. And I'm going to close out with this. Someone once said to me, I was given a light, but I didn't know it was a light. I didn't know it was a light. Years later, the light illuminates around them. And they're on social media. They have a great following, and they give people the opportunity to be free through wealth, right? That was Ashley J. I should say I didn't see it. 2 years ago, my brother said this and that. I just didn't see it. Today, it's like the sun was like there was a cloud under the sun, and it moved out the way, and she sees everything. I mean, and like I said, if you haven't even begun to see I don't believe you have begun to see the end of the tunnel. Because it's the illuminating light down there. You see it, but wow, all the potential I didn't even know. But I'm telling you that's happening. I know that you do. That I love you both. Thank you for being on my team.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that me and ShaE are on a limitless path. So that actually made me be who I am today because I learned that I'm limitless. So I hope that you know you are limitless, and I hope that anybody who watches this knows that they are limitless, and we have a limitless God. So be limitless.
Be limitless. I love y'all.
I love
Hey,
you.
2023 is ours for the taking. We are limitless. 2023 is limitless.
Yes.
We'll meet back here again in 2023 at the end, and we will tell each other just how limitless we were.
Yes.
I thank y'all for your time. Faith over fear, because why? You got to have a little bit more.
Yes. Put the fear back there.
Yeah. The fear got to go. Open up the windows and let the fear. Both of y'all is in a situation.
We can leave that in 2022. Leave the fear in 2022.
Yeah.
Fear and hope with both things. Like a bird that has fear on one wing, hope on the other. You can't fly like you want. You have to fear all over, right? Fear is right, right? You have the hope in this person. You need both of them. Fear and hope, yes, it's a good thing. Don't allow fear. Don't allow fear to overtake you.
I plan on doing something with hope. Like that's my next thing is hope, because you need hope, or like you're not alive.
Brings me